Gav, when you hear me, just shout out.
Hello. Good morning. I hear you. I'm on the side. Do I have to do that?
Are you on the wrong side?
Yeah. So I thought I'd put it on my iPad because then I could just use my phone or whatever. All right, I'm going to need. Are people see me on the side like that?
Yeah. You're on the side. That's what's happened to you. You fell over.
Right. Here we go. Let's have a go at that.
Are you going to do that for 10 minutes? Seriously? Will you be all right? You're going to have a stiff neck?
No, I'm going to go back like this. I'm going to get in my...
That's it.
My beautiful assistant. Oh.
Who's your assistant? Is it Kate?
No, it's little Winnie.
Where's Winnie? Oh, the dog. Oh, your dog's so cute. Bring in Winnie.
There
we had Phoenix yesterday. We've got Winnie today. Look at that.
Say hello, yes. Winnie. Say hello.
Winnie's getting so much love.
All right, she is. She's sleepy in the morning, so she just wants to sleep, to be honest. She was very naughty last night, actually.
What did she do?
Well, she wouldn't go to bed. She hates going to bed. She's a bit of a night owl, which, you know, I've got no problem with. But she wouldn't go to the loo.
Oh. You know how they say that dogs and their owners?
Yeah, I mean, there's this bit of, it's just the white tinges and things like that on her. So, yeah, I don't know how to lay this down now because I had it all planned. I thought, oh, that would look, you know, nice on a little iPad there. This is the studio, obviously, the BT Sports studio.
It's actually BT Sport HQ at the moment because we're the only ones providing any live action, I think.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So, how are you anyway?
I'm feeling a bit bad for you because I know you're going to be going to have a massage later, and Kate is going to blame me for it.
I'll just sit on the floor.
Yeah. Are you on the floor now?
Yeah, I'm going to go on my beanbag.
Do you know what? For two broadcasters, this ain't going that well, is it really?
Do you know what? I've been on all the way since the start. I'm very shiny as well. Who did my makeup this morning? I've been on since the start.
Don't go too far away because we won't see you or hear you.
You can see me now.
Yeah, welcome to BT Sport Live. Basically, this is what BT Sport Live is at the moment, isn't it?
I know. It's really weird doing those things from your house, isn't it? Like doing links from your garden in France. How bizarre is that?
Well, it's totally bizarre. I mean, I love it. It's hilarious. And obviously get the Geordie Lodger to help me because if I didn't, it would take me all day. It's harder than people think when you're trying to do things on a phone with a homemade reflector made out of aluminium foil and the sun's changing and the bells are going and the dogs are barking and all that lot. Anyway, enough about me. Let's get to you because you're on Suzi's Breakfast Club. How cool is this?
Good morning, breakfast team. How are we?
Well, everybody's really good. Everybody's having a lovely time. We're all connecting together.
What's for breakfast this morning? What's everyone having?
I am actually having a dirty breakfast.
Well, what is that?
It's spirulina, turmeric and yogurt.
Did you dredge that out of your pond?
It's very, very healthy. But tomorrow,
I'm sure.
I'm thinking of making some pancakes, but I'm thinking of doing it during the breakfast club. But I don't know if I'm brave enough. I think I will. What have you had for yours?
Can't you get in touch with James Martin? He'd love to do it, wouldn't he?
Well, to be honest, I did get a message from James yesterday. I might ask him if he wants to pop in.
Obviously.
Do you know what, though? Do you know what happened yesterday? It was really weird. I had all these messages and I've ended up with... So next week, on this chat that's now become an actual show, we've got the Queen of Numbers. I know, we're going to have to do a running order and everything. We've got the Queen of... You can guess who they are, these people, right? We've got the Queen of Numbers coming on.
Really?
Big entertainment star, years and years.
Carol
Vorderman.
Oh, that's exciting.
Just popping into the Breakfast Club. We've also got a 6-time motorcycle world champion who was brilliant in 250s.
Massimiliano?
The Roman Emperor Max Biaggi's going to pop by.
Bloody hell.
Wait for it. We've got a Le Mans 24-hour winner, ex-Formula 1 driver popping by to say hello. Now involved in British touring cars.
Alan McNish, would he be? Who else have you got? Johnny Herbert, who's involved in touring cars now?
Mark Blundell.
Mark Blundell, of course. Bloody hell.
So we're going to get the latest news from the world of Formula 1. And also a footballing legend from Wolverhampton who also played for England.
Bully.
Yes!
Of course, it has to be.
What a week that's going to be.
I mean, that is. I mean, I'll just go if you want.
No, Gav, we love you. When we announce you were popping by, there's a lot of love for you. Now, the first question is, and you should really pretend that you're in the driving seat now, as we do when we go into the tracks or we make the little videos.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
People want to know why you're the designated driver. Is it because you're the only one that's sober?
Yeah, that's pretty much, isn't it? Usually, I've got two very grumpy people alongside me. Suzi desperately trying to do a makeup. No, but you're doing your makeup.
No, Hodgie trying to desperately do his makeup.
Sorry, I got it the wrong way round.
Yeah.
Neil Hodgson trying to do his makeup. But yeah, because I'm a control freak. That's why. Yeah,
it is actually. It pretty much because he's a control freak. But also he's a good driver, and he only gets mad when we can't park in the car park that we want to go to. Then we find Golf Gav appears.
And I'm called Golf Gav because when I've played golf with a few riders before, they think they're the most competitive people in the world, don't they? I mean, they're also self-obsessed anyway, but obviously very, very competitive. And they think, you're a journalist, you're not that competitive. And then they find me on the golf course. And it gets.
And you turn into someone else.
Yeah, I turn into the most competitive person in the world. But I'm uber competitive.
Now, I'm obviously assume that everyone knows who you are, but I'm aware that there are some people, rudely tooting in the background there. Gavin is basically, Gavin and me are sort of the same, really, but I'm female and he's male. That's kind of it, isn't it? So Gavin's been around MotoGP bike paddocks for 25 years.
20 years.
20 years. Oh, adding a few years on, it's me, it's 25 years. And we've worked together over the years. Gavin's worked, for various different, for the rights holders, Dorna, and for the BBC. Actually, one of my favourite moments ever in MotoGP is an image that I have of Gav when he came to the BBC to be our reporter for MotoGP. And we remember when we sent you to Tavulia to make a piece on Valentino?
It was one of the best weekends. It was Tavulia Valley, where they all celebrate Valentino Rossi every year. And everyone remembers the chicken on the back of the bike, don't they?
Yes.
So we went to the Tavulia and we found the chicken costume, but it had no head. So our producer, Richard Gort, who you know very well indeed, decided, well, do it anyway. So I did a whole report dressed as the chicken, but with no head.
I know. And it was quite a long day filming. And at the end of the day, he was walking up this really steep hill, but still dressed in the chicken outfit with no head on. And he was sort of trudging up the hill, and there was these shots of him looking all sort of disgruntled and tired. And it just stayed with me. I just absolutely love it. But,
it was good fun.
It's a great job. We had Neil on the other day, and he was just saying how lucky we are to do this job. But from your perspective, what have been your favourite moments in terms of interviewing people? Can you tell us about any moments that kind of stick with you that maybe have gone wrong or have been funny or have been beautiful?
I don't know. There's some really sweet moments. Like I used to be the one interviewing the riders after they'd won races, and I used to sit there, and I remember interviewing Valentino Rossi after winning championships, Nicky Hayden after winning the championship, Shoya Tomizawa. I remember, honestly, when Nagashima won in the opening round in Qatar, and he put it to the sky and everything, I was welling up because I remember speaking to Shoya that day, who couldn't believe that he'd won. So I got loads and loads of special moments being in Parc Ferme and those kind of things over the years. Yeah, I've done so many, Suzi. I remember a few with Valentino. I did one once overlooking, it was for the energy drink company, and I did it overlooking the Barcelona circuit, and he recreated which was quite fun because he had the helmet alongside him. Is
that your favourite helmet of all time?
It is up there, but do you know what? I love an old retro Joe Roberts helmet this year. It's one of the best helmets I've ever seen. I love retro. That's me. I love an old custom sort of thing. So his helmet has blown me away this year. And do you remember Nicky did the one, the Easy Rider style?
Yes.
That had like the flag on. That was one that I've always liked.
That was really cool. In fact, a lot of people are asking about Nicky. So Should we just spend a little minute, just to spend a little minute talking about Nicky, because obviously, you know, I think it's fair to say he was one of our favourites in the paddock, and when you interviewed him, he just talked in sound bites, didn't he? And you know, you'd ask him a question, he'd just give you a line that was hilarious all the time, and he was just so warm and welcoming. And you know, when I saw him, we were like, "Hey, girl," and he just made you feel like, you know, you were his best mate, didn't he?
Oh, you know what? I had so many funny moments with him over the years. The worst thing, the worst or the best thing, the thing that I remember fondest, which is going to sound like a weird thing, but it was, I never knew whether to fist bump him, high five him, or shoulder whatever, or elbow, and it was different every time. And the amount of times where we'd go for the old awkward. That happened so many times. The first time I went and did an event with him, we were out in a bullfighters bull farm, right, in Jerez, and he was new to the championship, 2003, and he had these really cool, and I was trying to get to know him a little bit, I was asking about himself, and he had these really cool sunglasses on, right, and I was like, oh, Nicky, I really like your sunglasses. What brand are they? Because I'd never seen them, never heard of them before. It was just like a cross or something. And he goes, oh, that's Spa. I went, Spa? I've never heard of Spa. He goes, yeah, Spa. S-P-Y, Spa. And it was Spy sunglasses. But in his Kentucky drawl, I'm thinking of Spa, like going down your local spa. But yeah. But yeah, he honestly always had a line as well. He was funny man, and sadly missed. Yeah.
Very much missed. And can you remember the moment in that incredible, I mean, just going to get on to 2006, because we're actually covering Estoril in the show on Sunday, aren't we? Estoril, where we thought that his championship titles were over, really, having gone in leading the championship, and then he got taken out by his teammate Danny Pedrosa, and suddenly Valentino's in the driving seat. We go to Valencia with Valentino leading the way, thinking that he's going to take the title, and obviously Valley crashes out and Nicky becomes world champion. But those images of Nicky realizing that he'd achieved his life ambition of becoming a world champion, they still stick with me. In fact, you know, they make the hairs on my arms stand up, make me feel emotional now. It just incredible sporting scenes, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. I was in Parc Fermé again, because that was my job back then, I was commentating, but also I was in Parc Fermé doing the interviews and all those sorts of things. And but you know the guy who runs onto the track, who I think he gives him the flag. I can't remember, but he's there when Nicky's crying. Well, that's a Greek journalist, and my job I used to run the media centre. I used to be in charge of the media centre, and I had to give him. He's from Honda Greece, called Evangelos Lakopoulos. I remember, and he's in all these photos nowadays. And he was just someone, friends with Dimitris, our pal who works for Greek TV, and he sort of, I wasn't really allowing him to have a track actress, but he had it, and then he ended up on track, and he got in so much trouble for that. Yet since that moment, it's become this iconic shot of Evangelos from Honda Greece, who was like a journalist's kind of thing who was there. It was quite, I had to give him a telling off. But Nicky back in Parc Fermé, and all the emotion that day, never forget it. It was unbelievable.
And obviously, Gav, you've done loads of commentary. You do our commentary on BT Sport, but back in the day, commentating in Indianapolis with Nick Harris.
Oh my God!
During the weather was horrendous. It was
Hurricane Ike.
Yeah, there was a tornado, wasn't there, and everything kind of got cancelled. But you have to fill, like we did at Silverstone 2 years ago. We did a 5-hour show filling while it was raining. That was fun. But back in Indianapolis, that's some of my favourite things that Nick. Tell us what it was like to work with Nick Harris.
Nick is a proper legend of the sport. Do you know what? I don't know if many people in the UK really know or appreciate Nick that much, because you wouldn't. It's one of these where it's like a bit like Peter Windsor, is it, in Formula One, who do a lot of the world stuff, and it goes out to the US, to Australia, to all of Africa, all of Asia, and he did the world feed commentary for 25 years, pretty much, did Nick. Anyway, still going strong, but you know, as Nick got on, his eyesight wasn't in the best of shape, and he'd be the first to admit it. You know, he couldn't go anywhere in the dark. Myself and Matt Roberts, who presents on Eurosport, used to play a few tricks on him, and we got called a few names when we played these nasty tricks. But there was a time you mentioned in Indianapolis, Hurricane Ike ripped through the circuit, and 250s got cancelled. Marco Simoncelli was on pole position. I remember it, and it was all going on. And what was going on was hoardings and everything flying around, and they were battening down the hatches quite literally. And I had to go because I was in charge of the media, so I had to relay everything that was going on to the media. And Nick's just shuntering in commentary. We couldn't do like we did at Silverstone, Suzi, where we'd bring Cal in, or we'd have Colin and JT to tell some amazing stories. Nick just had to fill for an hour, pretty much by himself. On his own. And anyway, he obviously started going a bit delirious. A bit of water got in the system, and he's having a look, and there's somebody walking down pit lane with one of the hoardings in, and it was like a pole with a white kind of banner coming off it. And Nick goes, "Are my eyes deceiving me? Or is that a horse in pit lane? There's a white horse in pit lane. Surely not." And it is. Why everyone at home is going, "What on earth? There's a man holding a big stick. What are you doing?"
We were all listening, and we were all, just kind of going stir crazy, crying, laughing at that. And bless Nick, because it's followed him ever since, the horse in pit lane. And that phrase, "surely not."
Surely not.
It's just one of, surely not. There's not a white horse in pit lane, Nick, funnily enough. Absolutely brilliant. Who's been tricky over the years for you interviewing?
Do you know what? You can have Max on next week. Everyone always said Max. And I remember when I first started, obviously I had to interview him loads, but I was always lucky. I got away with Max for some reason. I've no idea why. Maybe it's because I had a little beard. I have no idea why. Because my hair was going as well. No, but because with Max.
Are you related to Max by any chance?
Don't tell him I said that.
Distant brother?
Well, my mum does live in Rome, so maybe. Anyway.
He was the emperor.
I was all right with Max. Do you know who I have most trouble with? And I don't know if Hodgie said it the other day, but it was Andrea. It's Andrea Iannone has been the struggle over the last few years. I get on really well with Andrea, but I used to stand at Park Fermi and do the official interviews in the set, and I'd say to him, and I know he can speak English, do this in English, and he'd go, yeah. I go, "Andrea, congratulations, great win. Sì, sono molto contento che," and then just go off in Italian, and I think, oh my God, I've got to go and translate all this next 2 minutes of diatribe. So yeah.
And if I think everybody agrees in the paddock with that. But if you so BT Sport team, the lineup, slowly everybody's going to come on and chat on this show, I think, over the next few weeks, hoping to get the MLAV on next week. I
hope his connection's good enough, because he actually lives in the boondocks, doesn't he?
Oh yeah. Well, we'll check it first. We'll make sure.
I think he said to BT, this is true. He goes, "Yeah, I've got a digger. If you can bring the fibre, I can dig a hole." And he was like, I can just imagine him as well in his digger. "Get me a trench. Get me some fibre." Him
and Alex Briggs could do that together. In fact, his connection was hopeless. So if you can describe all of the BT Sport team, but you can only describe each person with one word. Go.
Okay. Can I use a hyphen in this word?
Yes, my love, you can.
So Neil Hodgson, top off.
Top off.
Top off.
Yeah.
Keith, I'll go with Motormouth.
Okay, that's good.
Is that one word?
You can have two, Gav, because it's you.
I'll go with Suzi. Do I have to say you? Are you in front of me as well?
Careful.
The boss. There we go. We go with the boss.
I'm all right with that.
And then MLAV, blatantly geek.
Absolutely. We love MLAV and his geekiness.
Proper nerd is MLAV, but we absolutely love him for it. And what was it? Colin, obviously, loose. Loose. Where so many words. I mean, that describes how he is in normal life and on the telly, because he is a loose cannon sometimes, as you'll testify.
Yeah, it can be great entertainment. I'm trying to work out how we can get him on here, but obviously the time difference is really awful. And if I rang him at 3 o'clock in the morning, or whatever time it is in Texas, I'd just be scared that he'd had a few beers. So
Well,
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. If I was to describe you, I would describe you as, if I can use 2 words, photographic memory.
Well, yeah, I've got a bit of one of those, but it's for certain things though, Susie. It's weird. I can't remember things that I've done. I'm sure there's some sort of thing, right, about this, but I can't remember. So someone will say, "Do you remember this event we went to, this do?" And I'll be like, "No." But then someone says, "Oh, do you remember that last corner, or the statistic of how many wins so and so's had, or that kind of thing?" And it just comes to mind. And
that's why you're like a human reference book for all of us in the team, because this is what I'm talking about. You know, we can say to you, do you remember in Mugello in 2013 on laps? You'll just know, and it's unbelievable. It's great for us because we just go, Gav, and ask him the question, and it's there. The answer is without thumbing through loads of books.
Crashed that weekend, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. We should, and it would be remiss to not get to Sunday's broadcast. So we are now doing hang on, what's going on here?
So do you know who we've got on air, Susie? You've got a chap in the back. He's stealing your leaves.
He's doing my plumbing. He's just let's not go there. Do you know what I mean? It's just I've had a word, but obviously the message didn't quite get through. It doesn't matter. Let's just carry on because we're just in my garden and it's live. The greatest race, Sunday, 10 o'clock, BT Sport, from Gavin's attic in Leeds, which is the HQ for MotoGP and BT Sport. Tell us what we've got coming up in terms of the 4 races. It's the final heat, isn't it? It's the final chance to choose a race to go to the final.
So it is. We've got amazing guests too. We've got Danilo Petrucci.
Yes!
The people's favourite. And he's going to be talking about last year's victory in Mugello, which is one of our favourites because we love Danilo.
Yes, we do.
We've got a certain larrikin Aussie by the name of Jack Miller.
Wow.
Coming up. Hopefully he's going to be doing it from his digger. That's the hope. So he's going to be talking about Aston 2016.
Of course.
We've also got Estoril 2006. And what was the last one? Gavin the Seagull is making an appearance because we've got Phillip Island 2015, which obviously sparked off the feud between Valentino Rossi and Marc Marquez, even though on that day it was Andrea Iannone, wasn't it? Who was getting the mix, who absolutely smacked a seagull into smithereens, and the seagull got posthumously named Gavin. Nothing to do with me. It was something to do with some campaign down in Australia, but Gavin the Seagull was no more. But yeah, that's what race we've got. And that, for me, they're all good races there. Yeah,
all cracking races. And I think you've got a little bit from Valentino Rossi as well, haven't you, on Sunday?
So yeah, we've got Valentino. When I caught up with him the other day, we got him to talk about Estoril 2006, but he explains it so well of everything going on around there and then going to Valencia and it costing him the title effectively with Tony Elias nicking the win off him. Exactly. But I think he goes into the emotion a little bit more, and so it's one definitely to watch.
Yeah, it talks about that 2006 season, doesn't it? And he talks very beautifully about Nicky Hayden as well, which was which I only know that because I link into it, so I got sent the quotes.
No, he does, and obviously they were good pals. Were Valentino and Nicky really were. In fact, everyone was Nicky's friend, so it's not like anything different. But so we've got some amazing. What a lineup that is!
Yeah,
for Sunday morning when you're missing racing, and we're locked down for another 3 weeks minimum here, which got announced yesterday.
Yes, that's right.
So it's something to do for the next couple, and then so they'll go into the final. It looks like 2 Valentino Rossi races: Barcelona 2009, and what was the other one? I've forgotten it already. What is it? I've forgotten it already now. Barcelona 2009. And it was Laguna Seca 2008.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise one, that, because I as great as it was, I didn't think it was the best race of that 4. But you know, I guess it's the
Exactly. I think
headlines
that's
that went
all
around.
for one moment. It's one moment. I think people are sort of reading it in that as like the best ride, and it was a fantastic ride. But race-wise, there were others I'd pick. But the public gets what the public wants, as Paul Weller once said.
Going underground, the jam.
Yeah.
Pop quiz. Are you doing any quizzes online with your family at the moment? Anything going on?
We keep threatening to do the local pub quiz because it's the one that we go to. But every time it happens, so it was the last 2 Tuesdays, I've either forgot because I'm thick like that, and I've been out with the dog. We're allowed to have 1 hour, and so we go in the sunset time because it's quieter and take the dog for a walk. So I keep missing them, but I do love a quiz.
I love a quiz. Well, you know me, I love a quiz. I'm like Monica and friends, like, oh, I know. Our house party app, I don't know if you've been using it, but you know, it's where you can go in and you can do quizzes with your family and stuff and see each other. It's quite fun, but it's a bit annoying if you've got the notifications on, because you keep sort of, if you're around, you get called in. So yesterday I got called in by my mom to the house. So I went in. Brilliant. And then my mom comes up on screen and she goes, yeah, I can't talk to you now, I'm doing the tea. Well, why have you called me in the house then?
But I do like the Pictionary game. I do like that.
Yes, that's very funny.
I'm a fan of that one. But I've been doing house party. But what I've found is, with my friends, we keep meeting up and there's like 10 of us on screen. It's really hard to have a conversation. It's not a meeting, it's a meetup, and it's like a free-for-all, especially when there's a couple of beers being sunk by people. And
it's like a jazz band that's gone a little bit wrong. Everyone's just playing their own instrument, aren't they?
Yeah, nobody likes jazz when it's like that.
No.
Do they?
Well, a week ago today, it's the anniversary of my Geordie Lodger's birthday, which is basically, his birthday's been going on all week until the cake and the limoncello ran out. But I walked into the kitchen and he'd got a Zoom party going on with about 16 of his friends. And it was just extraordinary. I mean, they hadn't even had any beer and I couldn't understand anything that anybody was saying. Is that happening again tonight?
I think so, yeah. Why not?
Oh, goodness. Okay.
That's just the Geordie people, isn't it?
We love it. Absolutely love it. My favourite accent. Gav, I'm just going to do a quick check. Oh, I tell you what, while I'm doing that, the bells are going. It's all happening here. Tell us about your podcast.
Oh, right, yeah. So, do you know what? It's a bit like your breakfast club, Suzi. We, myself and Neil, long story short, I get bored without sport because I am absolute sport Billy obsessed. And so I was sat at home one morning, I was feeling really, really rubbish. And I thought, I bet I'm not the only one feeling rubbish. So I called Hodgie and I said, look, I'm feeling rubbish. Talk to me. And then we recorded it, and that we've been doing it. And we thought, oh, should we call so-and-so? We called Jake Dixon for a cheer up, first of all. And then, called a couple of pals. We called you, we got Suzi on. In fact, that's a really lovely, funny podcast that we did. So anyone listening, honestly listen to it, because it is a really good chat. And we got likes of Guy Martin, who did it with a mouthful of engine oil. So it's really hard to hear his Guy Martins. John McGuinness, we've just done, honestly, Suzi, Scott Redding, we've just talked to him this week from his home in his girlfriend's house in California. Don't even know where he is in California, for starters. I don't know, what's that beach? Malibu? So, anyway, so you know what Scott's like, but he is amazing. It's the best interview I've ever heard. And that's not me saying, oh, I've done this interview. Myself and Hodgie couldn't speak, because he's just talking about the most heartfelt. He doesn't enjoy racing. He was scared in BSB at certain circuits. And it's honestly one of the most heartfelt interviews, but he comes across amazingly. And then he tells us what's his favourite 4 a.m. kebab. So what more do you need?
Well, he wears his heart on his sleeve, doesn't he, Scotty? I mean, he's an incredible character. I'm going to listen to that later on, that podcast.
Dude, honestly, he says some amazing things about his rivals, about Johnny Ray, some of his superbike, something about Aprilia, who booked him. It's called Gas It Out, anyway, for those who want to.
Yeah, Gas It Out. So you can check that out. And How are we doing time-wise? Are we still okay?
Yes,
Clampy would like to say, are there any riders that you've been starstruck by?
Ooh, that's a good one. Aggo.
Oh, I just love Giacomo Agostino. I love him.
He's a film star.
Do you know one of my favourite moments? I think I'm allowed to say this. Indianapolis, one of the after parties, one of the sort of wild ones.
Are you allowed to say this, Susie?
I might be building it up a bit too much, but anyway, we were in the party. It was a really good party. Everyone was dancing on the bar. It was wild. It's what everybody thinks all our parties are like, but they're not really. Indianapolis, everyone's going mad. Valentino, I think Valentino threw it actually, and remember it's sort of down some stairs, like underneath.
This isn't the one where we ended up in Valentino's room, is it?
Yeah, but I wasn't gonna. Yeah. Drinking his minibar. Yes, it's that one.
Cleaning out the minibar. Right.
We did actually. That was really fun. But at one point, I was standing there with a drink, and Giacomo Agostino came up behind me, and he put his arms around me, and he's saying all nice things. And Valentino came the other side, and he put his arms around me and Giacomo, and I'm standing there in the middle, and I was thinking, look at this. This is amazing. This is my life. Somebody take a picture. I was thinking that in my head. Nobody did, but it stays as a picture in my memory. But I love them both so much. So super talented. Such incredible characters. And yeah, we ended up in Valentino's room afterwards drinking his minibar. There you go. So that's probably a good note to end on, Gav, don't you think?
I think so. We did actually go on to another room afterwards and drink another minibar, I seem to remember.
Yes, we did. And I think actually going home to the hotel in the morning was one of those sort of walk of shames, wasn't it? Yeah. But we were all together, so it was a bit weird. Anyway,
someone got the bill for that.
There's been many strange moments over the years, which we can share with you, again, at another point.
Post-watershed.
Yes. But for now, thank you for your time this morning. And I know you've kind of got a sort of easy-ish day tomorrow, and you're working tomorrow, putting it all together. Georgie Lodge is just having some weird coughing fit in the kitchen. You all right there?
Is he all right? Thank you.
Just checking that he's all right. So we'll see you on Sunday morning, 10 o'clock on BT Sport 1 HD.
Cannot wait to see you. Thank you very much for having me on, and enjoy your Camper-Choo-Choo.
Yeah, Camper-Choo-Choo. I know you're a massive fan of Bob's as well, aren't you, Bob? And Paul Whitehouse doing their fishing programme.
I'm obsessed by Bob. Always have been.
We love them. We love them. Big kiss to you, Gav. Thank you very much. Too. Love you.
See you later, everybody.
See you Sunday.
See you. Take care. Bye-bye. I'll let you go.
Love you more. Love you. Love you more. Oh, the lovely Gavin Emmett.